Okay, why is Restream not picking anything up? There we go.
It's just taking some time.
Taking some time, yeah.
Wow.
There we go. Now we can go live.
And you're up on Facebook and you're up on YouTube. YouTube came up after Facebook. That's rare.
That's weird. Yeah. Oh well. Well, hello everybody. We got a lot of things to kind of cover today. Hey, there's Derek Matthews.
Why doesn't it say you went live on my Facebook? Come on.
He's number one. He's first. He says he's first.
Who is?
Derek Matthews says he's first.
Derek Matthews. I haven't got over to that. Where is he?
Down. Go down. There it is.
There it is. There he is. There he is. Hi, Derek.
So we got some things to cover today. Holy cow. What do you think of the look of the new set here? Kind of.
Hi, Jess.
Is Jess there now too?
Yeah, Jess Cornitching. Hi, Richard and Frank. Let's see.
Open that in a new tab. Hey, there's Rudy. Rudy Yetten, David Sell. I see you guys. Kind of pushed my monitor out of the way a little bit. You're probably wondering why I have a CR-10 on my desk. I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. Hey, there's Mike Whaley.
What?
What? What are we talking about?
He's got some kind of an inside joke going with Derek. I'm reading his comment. I have no idea what he's talking about.
There's Jess Cornitching.
Ching, what do you think? Ching, ching-a-ling-a-ling?
Yep, my ching-a-ling-a-ling, my little ching-a-ling-a-ling. Hey, there's Neil Raskin. Hello, sir. And Jerry's Projects. Morgan Pierce.
Oh, Sergio's online. Sweet.
Hey, Sergio. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about you today. But stick around.
It's okay. He gets enough attention. Well, maybe not quite enough, but close.
He doesn't get enough attention. We're actually going to talk about another artist today, somebody we've mentioned on the show a little bit in the past. Jerry reposted our stream. Thank you again, Jerry, for all that you do.
He always
help
reposts
us,
the stream every
and help us. What do you guys think of this look now? Do you kind of like it a little bit? Do you not like it? Tell me what you think.
Where are we here? 129. 1 minute.
We got 1 minute to go.
1 minute from the countdown.
Wow.
Yeah. Somebody, you shipping me the CR-10?
No.
Were you going to ship Tim a CR-10?
No. No.
All right, are we ready to go?
We are ready to go. Let's
do
run that
this thing.
intro. And get ready to do my lower third.
That's what happens. That's what happens. I run the intro, then I start looking at the comments.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is Coffee with Rich. My name's Richard Cleveland, as you guys already know. And we're just kind of sprucing things up around here a little bit. I got a little green glow behind me. I'm kind of feeling a little hulkish today, maybe. I don't know. No, I'm not feeling hulkish. We're just trying to change things up a little bit, give you guys a little bit more of a professional look. And yesterday we were filming our DVD on the CR-10. And that will be coming out soon. I don't have an exact date yet, but that will be coming out soon. We've got a lot of things to talk about today, so let's dive right in. First and foremost, let's quickly talk about what's happening over on the Creality side. There's been some Creality news over the last little while, and the first thing I want to touch on, seeing as I've got one of these on my desk right now, is the hot end and the thermal protection in the firmware. Now, there's been some scare, I'm not going to call it a scare tactic, but it's made people really nervous. A post that went out this week by a gentleman by the name of Kevin Williams. Showed off some pictures, and it just shows how red the hot end gets without, or the actual thermal cartridge gets without thermal protection. So if you have a CR-10 and you have not yet gone into it, we're going to cover that next week. If you are in a rush to do it, there is no show on Monday because it's a holiday here, and I need a break, plain and simple. But so we'll do that on Friday's show next week. We'll show you exactly what to do in the Marlin firmware to turn on the thermal protection. So that'll be good, and then you just update it. Next in Creality news. Now, Creality's recently released the big wheels for the heated bed, the adjustment knobs. The wheels are about yay big. You can find them on Amazon, or not Amazon, on eBay right now. I don't know why they're selling on eBay, but they're selling them on eBay for $5.99 or $4.99 US. Make sure I get that correct. $4.99 US. They are selling the new larger adjustment knobs. You know what? For $1 in plastic, you can make your own. Just saying. But they are the same ones that come on the Ender 3, which we built on Monday, and you guys got a chance to see that. If you haven't watched Monday's show, make sure you go back and watch Monday's live stream. And last but not least, the silliest thing they could have ever done is they now, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen this, they now have support rods that you can buy, which will go from the top of the Z frame all the way down to the Y frame in the corner. They're $65, I think, online on AliExpress. That's a US price. Personally, I've never had them on mine. I've never used them on mine. I don't see any reason to use them because that is, my table's moving more than that is giving me any wobble or anything like that. So if you're nervous and you want to buy them, go ahead and buy them. But in my opinion, I love Creality products, but I just think, yes, the good thing is they're listening to their client base, their customer base, but two, it's unnecessary. Anybody that needs to have anything going from this top corner to this bottom corner means you haven't done something correctly here. Because every CR-10 that I've put together in the last 3 months has never had a Z-wobble problem, even getting up to here. And you guys saw the Dr. Fate mask that I did, and that was done on a CR-10 all in one go, 80 hours, I believe, 80 plus hours. So it was what it was. So that's Creality news for you. So first and foremost, if you haven't and you already know what to do when it comes to upgrading your firmware, go ahead and look into your firmware and make sure you turn on the thermal protection. So next, let's have a look-see here. Set looks good. Oh, yeah. Kind of like the old set, though. Showed me more character. Just my 2 cents, Daniel says. It is going back to showing some character. We're just in transition right now, and I didn't want a big white wall behind me. So I put up a black drape. We feel a bit less distracted this way. Well, that's you over there. Frank's typing for me today.
Like we do every day, yeah.
Like he does all the time.
Our names.
You can make your own for Pete's. Exactly, you can make your own for Pete's sake. So there's William Neal. Hello, sir. Emilio, Franco Descala. Who am I missing? Cheryl C. I think I got everybody.
You did. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look at some models today. I've started printing off some models from Emilio Vit. If you guys don't know who Emilio is, you definitely have to become friends with Emilio. He does have a Facebook page that you can go and see some of his work over on his Facebook page. It's v.t props on Facebook. I believe in the description, if you guys look in the description on today's show, you will find a link to his Facebook page. And if you're interested in getting any of his models or suggesting what models you want him to do, He's more than happy to accommodate, and his prices are super, super reasonable. Okay, so let me switch cameras here. And first and foremost, we're going to have a look at this little darling. This is Vampirella, which most of you know he has recently done. Now, stupid me dropped her today after I was putting her together, and I broke her heels, both of them. So I'm going to have to rebuild her heels. But the detail on this is amazing. The face, I don't know, well, you guys can't see that because the lights won't get that close, but the face is amazing. Like, he did a very good job. I sent him a picture of this from an old poster that was out, and it also was the cover of one of the magazines that she was featured in back in the 70s. So this is a very 70s style, and he put his own little twist on it. It comes with the little bat, which you can glue to her finger. And I'll go back to this camera here. So you can glue the little bat to her finger. She does come with a base. I haven't done the base yet. And then you've got the little bat going there too. That's really kind of cool. I dig what he did here. Like, this is an amazing model.
That would do good at 200%.
This would be beautiful at 200%.
Sure would, yeah.
Which I think I can do.
Somebody just gave us a sad face and an angry face.
Sad face and angry face? Why?
Yeah, why the sad face and angry face?
Why sad faces and angry faces?
Somebody hitting the wrong buttons. Here, I'll hit some loves just to just even it out a little.
And then the other model here is Darkseid. Now, Darkseid also comes with a base that I haven't done yet, and his arms are not attached. But again, the detail on Emilio's models is amazing. This arm goes over here, and if you haven't seen this online, I encourage you to go and check it out here on Facebook, because this arm right here holds a cape, and I'm going to actually put some actual cloth in there for the cape, just so it looks a little bit more realistic when I paint him up. Now, Emilio has an amazing amount of models available. If you go to his prop shop, Emilio, if you can please put your Facebook address in our comments on Facebook, that would be great, because I know you're here. There's Jim McGregor. That would really be amazing. And see, even Sergio says, awesome work. You know, between Sergio Mallet and Emilio Vit, William Donald, and Julio, we've got some amazing, amazing modelers in our community. And I encourage you guys to check these guys out. Go and talk to them. You can PM Emilio for any of his models that are available. And I know Malik's 3 Design has their own website. So go and check out some of these guys. Get some of their models. They're very reasonably priced. The STL is yours. And you cannot share the STL for both these artists, for Emilio and Sergio. However, you can print them, paint them, and if you so choose, you may sell them as according to their license agreement in the way that I understand them. If I'm wrong, they're going to correct me in the comments.
Let us know.
Let us know if I'm wrong. But my understanding is that you can sell their models once you've printed them and painted them, or just printed them. You just can't distribute their STLs. And you know what? Even if you bought the STL, it's like buying music. You don't really own that music, so you can't really make copies of it. But you can print, in this case, the models, and I'm going to detail this one. I'm going to paint it, and you guys will see exactly how we go about doing that. Next, Ben Brady has asked me to talk about couplers. And I'm going to just move these models just out of the way a little bit here and go to the top-down view again. And we're going to talk about couplers. There's several different kinds of couplers available for your 3D printer. We'll start with the most common one available, and that is the spring coupler. And what this is designed to do is this is designed to flex. So you can see that it's moving back and forth there. I can flex this because of its design. Now this can also be stretched It can be pulled apart and stretched, and you don't really want to do that. You don't want to pull it apart and stretch it. But what you'll do is you'll insert your rod until it bottoms out on the very bottom of the coupler. You want this one to bottom out. Again, with all the other couplers, what this does is it's supposed to take the wobble out of the Z-axis lead screw. Now, this one uses just little, what are these called?
Grub screws?
Grub screws. There we go. Thank you, Frank.
You know that?
These little grub screws are designed to grab onto the bar as well as grab onto the shaft of the motor. So like this, what you will do is you'll put that on the shaft of the motor. You're going to line one of these grub screws up with the flat portion of your motor, and you don't want to go past a certain length. I like to make sure that my lead screw bottoms out, and then I will attach it to the motor. For me, it seems to work better that way. The next most popular one is this guy right here. Now, this is considered a breakaway, but this is also called a clamshell. And the reason that it's called the clamshell is because there's a little notch right where the grub screws go together, and what it'll do is it will squeeze that little area so that it grabs around both the shaft of your motor and around your lead screw. And I'm going to explain the benefits of these guys to you in just a second. Let's leave those out. Put them on the bags because I got to put them back in.
Jerry on Facebook says it is only designed to flex or come apart upon nozzle crash.
Yes, that's true.
So that's the actual function of
yeah.
the flex. It's not.
Now, here's another one, very similar to the larger one that we saw. This is again a clamshell design. So it has a split where the two screws go in, and that's how it holds on. These are very good as well. I personally don't use either one of these. I'll show you the one that I use on most of my personal builds, and that is the solid coupler. Now, these solid couplers come in a variety of shapes and sizes. This just happens to be the one that Spool 3D uses. You can see it's got a hole for the shaft of the stepper motor, and then it's got a hole for the lead screw. So what I do, like I said, is I put it in there, I drop it in, then I'll take my Allen key and I'll just tighten that up so that it grabs and it's not going anywhere. And then what I will do is I will line that up with the shaft, and that will give me nice, tight connection between the motor and that shaft. Now, these are not designed to flex in any way, so they're designed to keep that shaft rigid, and if you can strain it at the top, which with a lead screw, it should be contained at the top, that way you're going to eliminate your Z-wobble. I hope that was clear enough for everybody. Let me see if there's any questions on that.
Don agrees with you that it's the best way to connect them.
So those two little guys,
That is the best
or those four different ones that are available. All these are available on the Spool 3D website, by the way. So just go and have a look there if you're interested in them. Spool3D.ca. Now this week, Jess and I started working on the CR-10, Mastering Your CR-10 DVD. We filmed all of the build or stock build and bed leveling yesterday. Now we're going to go on to next week. We are going to go on and start doing some of the firmware and software. We're going to take a look at both of those. Next week we're going to film some of that stuff. And then we're going to film some of my favorite upgrades or accessories for the CR-10. I don't think the CR-10 is a machine that needs a lot of love and attention. Unlike some of the other kits that are out there on the market, I don't think it needs a lot of love and attention. So right out of the box, this machine works great. I'm hooked. I can't say enough good things about the Creality CR-10. There are some drawbacks, and I will say that I'm not a fan of the fans, pardon me. I think the fans, like most Chinese manufacturers, they use sleeve bearing fans. Eventually they start to get noisy and wear out, and they're just a pain in the butt. So does the lead screw come in contact with the stepper motor shaft, or is there some space between them? Okay, good question. It can, in the case of this guy, the blue one that I showed you, I like to make sure that they connect, they touch each other. In the case of a spring clamp, not so much, because you want that spring to be able to flex. If you bring that lead screw all the way down, you're not going to have any flex in that. It's going to hold it rigid.
So what's the best way to measure that?
The best way to measure it, you can actually look through it. In this case, what I would do is I would put it into the flex coupler till it bottoms out, and then kind of mark with my finger or even a piece of tape how much is actually going in, and then take that out by half. So you're only grabbing a portion of it, because you want this to be able to move. On this one, it's okay to bottom out. This is the one that's made to break apart if you crash your head into the bed. Creality used to use these. I've seen these flex couplers on Creality. I've seen these breakaways on Creality. And now Creality uses a large clamshell one. Unfortunately, I can't get around to show you guys that, but it's very similar to this, only in a clamshell design.
Who was asking this? Morgan Pierce was wondering if these are parts that wear out commonly. Like you really almost never have to replace them.
You almost never have to replace them. These spring couplers I have seen stretch out because people have not looked after their machine, or they're not clear on how to level the bed, so the head crashes and all that kind of stuff. So I have seen these stretch out and go wonky. Like I said, if you've got these breakaways, they're fine. But I prefer using the solid couplers. I don't like any wobble in my Z-rods whatsoever, because that Z-wobble will translate into your print.
The taller it gets, it's even worse.
Yeah, the taller it gets, the worse it gets. Z-frame. Z-frame, Dan Brewster says, this is your Z-frame right here. So your lead screws, in the case of the CR-10, are on the back side of this shaft, or this piece of extrusion. Normally, you'll find them on the front side, most other 3D printers. I received an email from Mikey with the files for it. Have you done a firmware update on the D9? No, I have not done a D9 firmware upgrade yet. I'm just waiting to get some time to do that. And it's out on the floor. It's not my D9, so it belongs to the store, so we'll get to that. Okay, so the stock CR-10 connectors are good for some time then. Yes, Morgan, the CR-10 connectors are perfect. Have you looked at Xyltech's Z-frame braces? Dan, I have. I've looked at the Z braces that are not only from Xyltech, but from Creality, and the made-up ones that people are doing on Thingiverse. And to be perfectly honest, I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's necessary. I've used my personal CR-10. This is not my well, this one now is my personal CR-10, but the first one that you guys saw me using, I have not done anything to that other than adding large wheels and something to tell me which is up and which is down. That's all I've done to it. And like I said, when I printed that helmet for the Helmet of Fate, there was no Z-wobble in that whatsoever. So do you need the braces? I don't think so. I think to me it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and you're just adding unnecessary parts to the CR-10S. So that covers that, I think. Jess goes, it wasn't me.
I think she's putting all these like angry faces up on the screen. I'm saying, who's doing that? Why are you so angry? But it's just playing with my mind.
I'm not referring to Jess at all. She did some upgrades to her printer, and she had a recent issue.
I couldn't find an angel face.
She couldn't find a what?
She's putting up sad faces because she can't find an angel face.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I don't get that either.
And you know what? Her printer works just fine. If she goes back to stock, it'll work even better. All right, so let's get into your questions. Richard has a problem with gravity and can't tell up from down. That's true. That's very, very true. Why are you guys roasting me again today?
It's the whiskey in the morning, Ben.
Ben doesn't drink whiskey.
No, Richard's whiskey in the morning.
That's true.
It makes gravity hard to deal with.
Jess says she's not mad about anything. She's just being a jerk.
Stop it. People will think people are getting angry at us.
Yeah. All right. So
Facebook watches everything.
Just so you guys know, again, I would say if you're interested in Emilio's models, he's got some great Superman models. This is his most recent model that he's done is the Vampirella. He's got other DC models, Lion-O, which I am printing right back here right now. I started the print on it this morning, so Lion-O is back here. If we aren't roasting you, there's a problem, Morgan Pierce says.
I agree.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, Morgan.
Oh, just for that, these guys better be going to buy me a coffee so I can liquor myself up for next week.
Yeah, you guys should buy Richard a coffee. We do abuse him a lot, so.
Yeah, Ben says he's a sober judge. Even though he lives in Texas, he's a sober judge.
Especially
we have all kinds of people watching this show. We've got judges, we've got engineers, we've got housewives, and those that are not housewives. We've got all kinds watching this show. But this set is temporary, guys, till we get everything in here and get it all set up. I'm in a real time crunch. I've got 3 weeks to get things painted and ready for Pentacon, which I will be at on the 9th and the 10th with the lovely Jess Cornet-Ching. We are going to be there talking about 3D printing, promoting the show, showing off some of Emilio's and some of Malik's or Sanix 3 Design or Malix3Design.com models and or Sergio. I should have just said Sergio's models. Yeah, Emilio's and Sergio's models we're going to be showing off. What else are we going to be doing? Oh, I'm going to be doing a talk on 3D printing while I'm there too, so that'll be kind of nice.
Ben Brady's wondering now, do you really think the Wanheo beside you?
Yep.
Does it need those Z-axis stabilizers?
That one definitely does.
It has them.
I put these on. These are an after-market upgrade, I guess. You print off the files from Thingiverse, and then you just get some threaded rod and some nuts. But the reason that I put these on is because this frame, which you can't see, but this frame wobbles tremendously. And I don't understand why it does that, but it does introduce wobble into your prints. So by putting these on and making this whole frame square, you then take that Z wobble out. So, and the funny thing is, it's not the couplers because they're using these blue couplers. It's not the couplers, it's the actual frame itself is actually physically moving. So this actually lightens that load. And I've got a little Enterprise up on top that shows me how much Z wobble it's getting. Yes, I do want to drag Jess up on stage, and I want her to help people too. Because people have to meet Jess. People have met Frank. He's been here. We've got a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that we're going to be showing you guys pretty soon as well.
I forgot my camera today.
Well, that's okay. We get a lot of footage from behind the scenes the last couple of shows.
Yeah.
So there is no show on Monday, just so you guys know, because it is a holiday here in Canada. It's a long weekend. How about 8-diode, oh, the German printing nerds is asking me, how about 8-diode TL smoothers for the CR-10?
What is
You know
that?
what? I haven't had a need to go in and put TL smoothers on anything. I have, for a customer, however, done the dampeners on the X and the Y, and it dramatically improved the noise, or lessened the noise.
8-diode TL smoothers?
8-diode TL smoothers, what they do is basically they're smoothing out the signal that is coming from the board through to the motor. Because normally, when you see the signal on an oscilloscope, it goes up in square, kind of flat peaks. And that's the pulse being sent to the motor from the actual stepper driver on the board. Now, when you put a TL smoother, what that does, it takes that abrupt wave sign and it smooths it out. So it's got a much smoother transition between each of the steps. That's what a TL smoother does.
So that, in a sense, will actually smooth out the print because you're getting less.
It can,
stops and
yes.
starts, or the stops and starts are smoother. Perhaps?
Your stops and starts are smoother. The actual movement of the motor is smoother. You don't need to put them on. Some people have put them on. They also help to quiet the machine as well.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So that's what TL smoothers does. I have a Wanhao Duplicator i3, but the board has been replaced with an Arduino Duet and a RADS 1.5 board. That's interesting. You should send me some pictures of that, Ben. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Invincible, he says.
Who's invincible?
Yeah, the
Remove salmon effect?
yeah, the salmon skinning effect.
Oh.
When you look at a print, if you're looking at a tall print that's got a lot of flat surfaces on it, you'll get almost like a ringing. And it'll spread out from the center and go out in certain places on your print. That's called salmon skinning, or salmon skin on your print. TL smoothers will help that problem, and again, that goes because of that sine wave, or the pulse modulation that you're getting from the board to the stepper motors. Do you have to go out and spend money on TL smoothers and try and incorporate them in on something like the CR-10? No, I don't think you have to. Would it benefit me to do that on my Wanhao Duplicator i3? Absolutely. I think it would work much better on my Duplicator i3 than it would on this machine. Invincible is asking, what is this? Well, Invincible, in case you didn't know, this is called the first layer, just like I've got right there on my t-shirt, you see? The first layer is a show all about exploring the world of 3D printing. I talk about 3D printing 3 times a week, and we show off models. We talk about painting your models and finishing your models. We also dive into different printers, and we do unboxings and reviews and all that kind of stuff. Hope that answered your question. Holy cow, we've been on here for a half an hour now.
Holy cow, I think we're going to make it.
I think we're going to make it. So, if there are no more questions, let me quickly go and start thanking some people. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you guys that watch the show, because without you, I wouldn't have a show, plain and simple. Secondly, I want to thank all of those people that have gone to Patreon and support the show through our Patreon link. Thank you very much. You guys are up right here.
To your left, yeah.
That way?
Your
that
left,
way.
Your left. Yeah,
My
our
left.
Yeah.
I never know where that thing is going to show up. So thank you to all of my Patreons for your support in the show. Again, if you'd like to support the show on a regular basis, you can go to patreon.com/thefirstlayer and pick a category. You know, it's going to be fun. For those of you that don't want a monthly commitment and just like what we do here from time to time, and you get something out of the show, and that's hopefully what I'm helping you do, is get something out of the show, then I would say to you, please go and buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. the first layer. Every little bit helps. And our next big jump is going to Penticton, June 9th and 10th. We're going to be there. I want to thank, of course, spool3d.ca. Print it right, print it with spool3d.ca. They've got everything you need from printers like this one and those two to filaments and all of the accessory parts that you could possibly need. So check them out today at spool3d.ca. Print it right, print it with Spool3D. So with that said, that's pretty much the show today. Oh, wait, I have one more question, couple of questions I'm going to cover real quick before I say goodbye. Jim McGregor says, I have a question on Creality menu. Is there a fail-safe? What is it for? Oh, there's a fail-safe. What's it for? The fail-safe, what that does is it puts your firmware, if you made any changes on the front dial of the Creality CR-10, what it's going to do is it's going to set it back to factory. Okay? Graham Tanfield says, currently building my own printer, 2020 aluminum extrusion frame with a Z-rib board, ramps basically, getting a TMC 2130 stepper drivers for smoothing and trying lead screws for X and Y as well as the Z. I'd be very interested in seeing pictures of that. So with that said, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. And until next time, remember, the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. See you next time.